Hello everyone, so in this video we'll talk about the BetaFPV Pavo20 and we will connect this to an ELRS controller. In our case, this would be the Radiomaster Pocket, but you could also use the Radiomaster Boxer, the Zorro, or any other ELRS controller that you might have at home. So I made a previous video about this, but the problem is the audio did not sync well when I uploaded it to YouTube. So I'll just walk you through on how to connect this to an ELRS controller. Especially if you did connect this directly to your DJI controller and the DJI Goggles 3. Because there was a setting in Betaflight that you need to adjust for this to work with the DJI FPV controllers. And once you do so, it will not work on an ELRS controller. So you have to adjust some settings again in Betaflight if ever you did that. So I'll walk you through this, and hopefully my audio will not clip this time. So let's go. The first thing that you need to do is, of course, you need to have your connector. This is the connector that connects to your Pavo20. Because it doesn't have a USB port, so this will be the USB port. So you have to set your settings in Betaflight. So you have to connect this by USB Type-C. Okay, so once you are in, you have to check your ports tab. So since I'm using I already connected my Radiomaster Pocket here, you will see that the UART3 is enabled. If you'll be using an S-Bus or that connects directly to your DJI FPV RC3 or RC2, you have to turn on UART5. Okay, so just don't mix this up. UART5 is for S-Bus. Okay, if it is turned on, it will not work with your ELRS controller. Okay, so in our case, we are using an ELRS controller, so we'll disable UART5 and we'll turn on UART3. Okay, the rest is disabled. Example, you have done that. Let's disconnect. So this time, check your receiver tab. Make sure that you are in serial via UART. Okay, and if you are coming from the DJI FPV receiver, it is in S-Bus. Okay, don't mix that up. S-Bus is for the DJI controller, but we want to use an ELRS, so we will go with CRSF or Crossfire. Okay, once you do so, save and reboot. Okay, for example, you have save and reboot. Connect again. Okay, what else did we miss here? So basically that is our adjustments for the radio controller. Now, for example, your Radiomaster Pocket or your Boxer has a binding phrase. Okay, so what you need to do is, in the latest version of Betaflight, it's actually easy to put the binding phrase, because in the section of Betaflight on the receiver tab, you could actually write the binding phrase in this portion. I think telemetry will be below the above the telemetry. There will be an option to put the binding phrase alphabetically. So it's easy. You just need to put it there, then bind with your radio controller, then you're good to go. But of course, we are in an old version of Betaflight for the Pavo20 as well as my Betaflight here. We will type the binding phrase, and the Express LRS website will give us the code. The words has to be converted to UID bytes. Okay, so I'm trying to find the generator. Here we go. For example, our binding phrase is YouTube. Okay, So the UID bytes would be 246.149.55.176.61.100. Okay. Then from here, actually this is the correct command. You go to CLI, then save this up. Okay, you see that. Then you press enter. Okay, I will not put it here because this is not my binding phrase, but you get the point. The moment you enter this, it will save this binding phrase so that both of this will have the same binding phrase. The moment you turn on your Radiomaster controller, it will directly connect. So now, for example, we did that. It will disconnect, then it will reconnect. Okay, there you go. So look at your receiver tab. Check if the radio is, the inputs is showing here. Okay, for example, it doesn't connect, it doesn't have any, there's no chance that it would work. It's not moving at all. Go to your Radiomaster Pocket, go to sys button here. Okay, then go to the Express LRS tools. Okay, then you go to bind. Okay, then from there, since you have both of the binding phrase for your Pavo20 and here, this should be enabled. Okay, so if it still doesn't work, reconnect your Pavo20. Probably there's some issue there. Just reconnect it. Okay, go to receiver tab. This should now work. Okay, see, it's now moving on Betaflight. The moment it does work in Betaflight, it means both of these are connected and binded. Okay, now for example, you put a binding phrase on your Pavo20, but you did not put a binding phrase on your Radiomaster Pocket. If in any case you want to set a binding phrase on your Radiomaster Pocket or any controller that you have here, you have to download your Express LRS configurator. Just a reminder, if you're not committed on doing this, you can skip this part. Just remove the binding phrase on your Pavo20, because with this one, you have to flash the firmware of your ELRS controller. And there is a chance of course, you might brick your device if you'll be doing this. So if you are committed on doing this, you are alone in case that there will be issue on your device. Although most of my previous controller, I did not have any issue doing this. But if you're not committed, you could skip this part. So go to Express LRS configurator, check if you have an updated device, or if you know the latest version of your, for me it's 3.2.1, so I'm a bit old in my firmware. It doesn't matter in my case because this works for me. So go and set your target, which is a Radiomaster 2.4 gigahertz, and the device will be the Pocket. And what we need to go to is the binding phrase part. Put your binding phrase here. For example, it's YouTube. So now we have to flash, and the moment it is okay, the moment you flash it and there's no issue, this would have the same binding phrase. Okay, so basically that is how you connect your BetaFPV Pavo20 with your Radiomaster Pocket. Now, next is, of course, we have to set this up. We need to bind them. So for example, you haven't done anything yet and it's not yet connecting, you have to make sure that your ELRS is in binding mode. To enter the binding mode, you have to do this very quickly 3 times. You just need to Okay. Okay, then turn on. The ELRS receiver will be in binding mode. Now for your controller, you go to bind, and they are now connected. Okay. See? Okay. So that is how you connect your BetaFPV Pavo20 with the Radiomaster ELRS connector. So we will end the video here. Hope to see you in the next video. Happy flying.